is there wood available for this year to be purchased? I know there's a
Good
lot
question.
over there in the trees, and if there's a list, could the list be opened up and utilized and processed? And what is the cost of a face cord of wood this year? Is it still at the low ridiculous rate of $40, or has it gone up to $50?
I can't remember, was it 40 or 45? Glad you asked, so.
Here we
What
go.
are the determinations?
Let's get rid
In
of that.
4 minutes or less.
I want to see it empty.
Because this is important, that we don't have to do it. Under advisement, because I guess it's my call, I've been back and forth, whether I start making phone calls because I anticipate that comptroller's determination here in the very near future. And I guess I feel strongly enough about it because I believe if I put that out to most of the citizens of Elizabethtown, they would say, that's ridiculous. What you're doing is fine. You've done it way before you were here, Mr. Mayor. It's worked and it's worked and it's worked. But because of the scrutiny of a few individuals who have brought the comptrollers on it, now they say, you know, you're not doing anything wrong, but we would prefer you play by these rules. It's just my personality. If that's their determination, it makes my life, makes your life easier. We're just above it all. That's the way it is. And I'm not going to make phone calls to people, unfortunately, until they give me that determination of, you know, whether you better not do that anymore. Well, Jesus, you didn't say anything. I just called all these people. So I just wanted to give a representation of why I haven't made those phone calls yet. And it may evolve to the point you all will help with
Well,
an
I would make a suggestion
RFP.
with
With
that
all the wood that we
being
have
said.
up here on this new hole, that's what we might do. And just say, bid it out, one individual, and then he can buy the wood.
Well, that wood is nice seasoned wood, and I would suggest that if that wood is not gonna be let out in 2 face cord lots per individuals throughout the community, that wood be sold or given to the highway garage so they can utilize it in their wood burning apparatus down there, and end of story.
I'd agree with that.
Instead of lotting it all out to one person to make a profit. Let's lot it out to ourselves.
On that little monologue is because, and I think Mr. Hutchins was here for one of those, that is how the comptroller determines things. And I just wanted the public to understand. I didn't ask for that scrutiny. Somebody here did. And for some reason, somebody, I guess, believed what we were doing and what has been done here is somewhat unfair. I
Well,
don't.
it's a hell for record keeping, it really is.
Oh,
Yeah.
Whoever sent the letters down to the comptroller's office from this area among our constituencies are the ones that helped to prompt this thing to come into fruition here. And now we're doing it the best way we can. I may deal with the comptroller's concerns like that a little differently than some do. They're not always particularly happy, or at least they weren't when I was supervisor at one time. I tend to ask him when they tell you those kinds of things, well, do we have to do it that way? And if they say, we would prefer that you do it that way, or it might be a better way to do it. But are you saying we gotta do it that way? Well, no, we're not. Well, I'd say, okay, have a nice day, what's next? And then we can deal with it the best way we can. So, okay. I think.
So at this time, no wood is available.
no, but we can say at the next budget meeting especially, that could be one of the sidelines that we talk about. Because, you know, it shouldn't just be my decision, it's a board decision what we do with that wood. I
I
agree
think
with
at the
that.
very least, you ought to get rid of the wood we got, the way we're getting rid of it. Just get rid of it.
Well,
It's like-
people need it now. They don't,
Yeah,
Right.
I
we
would,
don't need it.
I would sell it the way we've always done it. If Dennis can, and the highway can use it, that's fine, take it, truck it on down there and let
Well, we
them
have
burn
a
it.
lot of wood now from the highway for the new hole that we're cutting in, hundreds of cords.
Well, then I think you should initiate, or have, even if you don't have the time to make those, go have somebody, or we can help do it.
For what we have,
And whatever we got over there,
Stockpile
sell
now.
it and get done with it and be done.
Sell it to
no
who?
marketable timber.
well, I have the mystery list.
I don't think we should sell it in the manner in which it's been sold until we have some sort of a representation from the state auditors, till we know where we stand there.
I don't agree. I think that the auditors have indicated there's nothing wrong going on here. There's no money missing.
No.
There's no fancy dancy things going on here.
They just
We
prefer
don't
it that
exactly
way.
like the way you're doing it, but it's okay. And it's essentially, that's what they're saying.
Yeah, they prefer it to be the other way.
Let's,
Is that what they've
Good.
represented to you and all,
Yeah.
verbally?
Yeah, that they would
have
prefer,
no
you know, in a
official-
perfect world, this is how, from the comptroller's perspective, this is how municipalities should deal with any rough product commodity.
Mhm.
You put it out, you don't compete with the private sector. You do it as an RFP, bidding in the whole lot, get rid of it. That way the taxpayers still benefit from the revenue that's produced from that bid. And then that individual has that raw product then available, still for sale. So
So you're not,
the town still
you're not
makes out.
anticipating the comptroller's office is gonna tell you that this has been inappropriate
No,
and that we
no.
should not be doing this.
No.
You're not
Try as they
anticipating
may, they did say, no, there was, they could find nothing that was inappropriate. As far as the bookwork, the bookkeeping,
Oh, I don't know, I took a look. There
the
might be
sequential evidence that we had for keeping the list.
that. Well, I
maybe
guess I agree with
25,
Phil then, yeah,
30
let's
face
get rid
scores.
of it and then
I don't think it's much more than that.
Before we get into this business in the future, then we're
I
gonna
really haven't looked at that closely.
Well, it's falling over.
Let's pretend today that, that then next week, when we got to that, I decided to make phone calls. We were at, last year, I changed what the minimum was. Used to be you could get 2 cords because we were fewer and fewer cords produced. I lowered it to 1 cord last year. So the most
Per
anybody.
family?
Yeah.
Well,
And I don't mind staying with that because it spreads it around more, that's all. It does, and we just have less and less, there's probably not 30 cord over there might be about 25.
As I've told you before, the original idea of that years ago was to have wood available for older persons
Yeah.
that maybe needed it later on in the season. It wasn't intended to be a big revenue generator, it was intended as a safety net for folks that needed it.
Right, and it's not bad to keep some for the heat program, because we did have some prepared for the heat, last year and the year before that.
Well, I've moved that we
$50
open that
a
up
cord?
to whatever you have as a pertaining list and
50?
get it out, get it out of there. Before the
$50?
snow falls on it, you can't get to it.
50 is reasonable, I'm paying 66. For the wood that I buy, that's split and delivered.
Okay. 50 it is this year, 1 cord. Like I said, I put their name back on if they want, but I just know we're not gonna have that many available cords. Okie dokie, that's done. Well, at least it's
Now-
been decided.
By the time we have our exit interview with the controller's office, this would, in all probability, will have been sold.
Yeah.
It'll be gone. However, whether the highway gets some of it or however, anyway, it'll be gone.
The new one.
And then this board can then make a determination based on whatever the controller's office says. I mean, I'm not suggesting that we just tell the controllers, we're not gonna do it, we don't care what you say. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
But I'm saying that in some of their conclusions gives you a little more wiggle room, if you will, to do things that fit the way that we need to do things for a small town like this.
right.
And they tend to allow you to do that unless they come right out and say, you can't do this anymore.
Yeah, something
This
looks
is
real
over.
shady, yeah. And they
And it's over.
scrutinized it. They
And
did.
I agree with that. I mean, I don't have any problem with that.
No, they scrutinized it, and no, they really didn't.
And it might be worth saying, unless you've moved it, the mystery list is hanging on the wall.
That's true, yeah.
The secret mystery list that comes and disappears for weeks at a time and
Yeah.
maybe never existed and maybe within somebody's imagination. It's hanging on the wall in there in his office.
And there's
Also,
copies of it down at the comptroller's
In
office.
spite of what the comptroller's office may say, whether they give us clear direction or not, we still don't necessarily have to go out looking for trouble each year by
No.
continuing a business which appears to have some questions associated with it.
Right. Yeah,
I
simple
have-
is good.
I have agreed with that concept for years and years.
Simple is good. Other members of the board?